Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for yet another episode here of Night Brothers Commentary. I have been away from the desk for a little while due to work, scheduling conflicts, this, that, and the other, but I'm excited to be back in the fold here with Matt again, bringing you guys another sort of episode here centered around the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is always exciting. I am fresh off of the reel, so to speak. I just watched Black Widow for the first time, fresh on my mind. I know Matt's excited to start the dialogue here about one of the latest films in the MCU. So, Matt, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, so essentially, the film kind of begins with Natasha and her adopted sister, if you will, kind of living in Ohio, where her parents are basically just Soviet spies, and they basically just destroy a shield base, and they flee to Cuba. And then both of the girls kind of get transported to the Red Room. We kind of see like a small glimpse of a training montage. The film basically jumps forward to 2016.
I have to interject there really quick because that training montage in the intro I thought was really well done. I wasn't sure exactly what to expect, but I loved the music. It was kind of a cover or a remake of a Nirvana song, Smells Like Teenage Spirit. I just thought it was really, really well done. Kind of gave you the history of what was going on without making that what the movie was about.
Yeah.
Right? You seemed like you were able to capture all the things that were going on that brought us to where the movie kicked in. So I'll let you continue.
Yeah, so essentially it's 2016, like right after Captain America Civil War.
Yep.
Natasha's on the run. Her sister is basically a brainwashed spy working for General Dreykov. If I butchered his name, please let me know in the comments, but I'm pretty sure it's General Dreykov in the Red Room.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically her sister
Yelena.
Yelena is basically kind of going after a rogue Black Widow, and she succeeds in killing her, but the rogue agent basically succeeds in setting her free with the little chemical compound that they had.
Yep.
And so she basically goes rogue herself. She sends the stuff over to Romanov via, I guess, a mutual friend, if you will, or at least it seemed like a mutual friend or something.
I wasn't exactly sure how that, we had never seen that character before.
We had never seen him before, so it was just like, who is this guy?
Yeah, he's kind of a broker. He was kind of like some sort of, he said he was a contractor, but kind of brokering different supplies, things like that. So that part was kind of understated until we realized we saw it in the box, and then it was like, okay, this is getting interesting. And then we're introduced to one of the villains for the first time.
Yep, Taskmaster.
Yep.
Who basically attacks Romanov looking for the vials, but Romanov escapes. She meets her sister at a safe house in Budapest, and then basically they get attacked by Taskmaster and a whole bunch of basically brainwashed Black Widows.
Yep.
They escape again. They eventually meet up with that one guy, gives them a really cheap-ass helicopter.
Yeah, the broker again. We saw him several times throughout the film.
Yeah, and it was his role was very brief, but it's definitely setting up something, in my opinion.
I was going to say, I feel like we're going to have to see him again. He got too much camera time and too much dialogue for us to see a brand new character and have him.
And just never see him again.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. So we'll see where that goes.
So basically, they break out their adopted father from a Russian prison, who happens just to be Red Guardian, basically the Soviet Union's answer to Captain America.
Right. Very different personality than...
Oh, my God. So self-centered and self-absorbed to the point where it was just like, dude, stop.
He was kind of the antithesis of Steve Rogers.
Really?
Really,
it was literally the antithesis.
Yeah. I thought that... And by the way, I'm not sure who that actor is. I'm sorry, I'm not well-read enough to know, but I thought he did a phenomenal job. He was very funny, very engaging.
And that's true. He was definitely the comic relief for this movie for sure. And he played the role well. But eventually they meet up with their adopted mother again, who is working on improving the brainwashing formula on a whole bunch of pigs.
Yep.
On some weird pig farm in Russia.
It was
just literally out in the blue, middle of nowhere, okay.
Yep.
And then Dreykov catches up to them because the mother basically betrays them. But Romanov convinces the mother to actually side with them.
Yep.
and they basically take down the Red Room, which is basically just a massive space facility.
Yeah.
Floating in the, like on Earth. Like, okay, like how
somewhere in the between the Earth's atmosphere and space, it was just kind of hidden.
It was just like
off. They said it was off radar.
Yeah.
That's how he's been able to kind of get away with it. Somewhere, I assume. Hovering over Russia.
Yeah. Basically, Natasha meets General Dreykov. He reveals to her that his daughter was Taskmaster all along.
Yep.
After the whole bombing incident.
Yep.
Because remember in the first Avengers movie where Loki is kind of like interrogating Natasha and vice versa, he's like, "Can you wipe out that much red?"
Yeah.
Like the hospital fire, Dreykov's daughter, all that stuff. It's like, okay, wow, yeah, Barton really knows a whole lot here.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. So eventually, she breaks her own nose, and that's important because he basically had this weird pheromonal lock where no woman could even touch him.
Yeah.
So they fight for a little bit. They fight with Taskmaster a little bit. The whole family, if you will, basically manages to destroy the space station. And escape. And then after that, they basically free all the Black Widows, and they also free Taskmaster. And basically, Natasha kind of goes off on her own to basically go work with Steve to free everyone.
Yeah.
From the raft, the prison that you see in Captain America Civil War. And then after that, there is an end credit scene where we see Count Tessa something.
Okay. I didn't know who the character was. I just recognized her from Seinfeld.
Oh, really? She was in Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yep.
Because remember, she was the woman who was working with U.S. Agent from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, that's right. I didn't put two and two together.
Yeah. I'm going to say this right now. I think she's either A, working to help rebuild Hydra, or B, a Skrull.
That's what I was going to say, a Skrull.
Well, like, I feel like it's more like the latter because we kind of dealt with Hydra before, and it just feels redundant to basically bring that point up again.
Right.
But the Skrull theme makes a whole lot more sense.
I felt the same way. I kind of felt that same way in the scene, where she's putting a picture in front of Yelena, which is Barton, and saying, "Here's your next target."
Yeah, so I'm thinking this is going to lead over to the Hawkeye show that's coming out relatively soon.
Yep. Little Easter egg there. It'll be interesting. I mean,
it will be interesting.
For me, I thought the movie in general, because of where they placed it in the timeline, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was extremely well done as a standalone, entertaining action film.
Yeah.
Right? Does it do a ton for me in terms of the greater MCU narrative? Not necessarily.
It doesn't. I don't think it seems that way at first.
Yeah.
I don't think it seems that way at first, but I feel like it will play a much greater role.
And you're probably right. I guess for me, like, I felt like they were doing Natasha Romanoff a real service, given how important her character evolved to become throughout the first couple of phases in the MCU, and the fact that we never did get that origin story, so to speak. I thought it. I really liked it. You know,
and to Marvel's credit, they definitely did do that. But to me, the timing of this movie is not a coincidence because I don't know about you, but to me, every single piece of the MCU really kind of serves a purpose.
That's true.
Like, it really just helps to serve the much grander narrative that the story is really kind of taking place. And this movie is no different, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. That leads me to and I'm trying to understand. Okay, so let's play off that theory that this is going to become more of a piece of the greater story going forward. What was Natasha at the end of the film when she loaded that drive? You saw her at the end when she got into Dreykov's desk or whatever and loaded that drive and transferred the files. Was that just sharing the identities of the widows that were out there, or is that? What do you think that's about? Was there more to that?
I feel like there might be more to that.
Okay.
For me, that drive was basically just a way of identifying all the widows. Yeah. So that way, her adopted family could take care of that while Natasha had her own stuff to do.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of where we left off Yelena with that end credit scene because they were still kind of working on that. But yeah, basically pre-Infinity War and post-Infinity War, essentially, is my guess. But
And I think, too, you kind of got the sense that I don't know what Scarlett Johansson's future in the MCU is. Obviously, in the Thanos sacred timeline, if you will, her character died, right, in Endgame. I don't know where she may or may not pop up. I haven't paid attention to contracts and things like that, but it certainly felt like it was kind of a passing of the torch to her adopted sister Yelena, especially with that end credit scene.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. There's no doubt.
They had the Black Widow symbology on Natasha's tombstone, right? And she was kind of, Yelena obviously comes from that Red Room project.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think she certainly will see her again.
Oh, there's no doubt we'll see her again.
And probably in the Hawkeye series.
I'm thinking, that's probably going to be her next appearance.
Yeah.
And then part of me wants to say that all of these little scenes throughout the basically Phase 4, essentially, with Count Tessa, they're setting up the Thunderbolts.
Okay. I don't know anything about the Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
so you have to kind of give me a little bit more juice on that.
Yeah, essentially the Thunderbolts are basically going to be like Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. So
and it's Thunderbolt Ross, obviously.
Yeah, who's the head?
So it's going to be kind of his
own little superhero team, essentially.
Go. That makes sense, really.
Captain America: Civil War started off that whole thing. This is just paying more and more homage to that because I just feel like Count Tessa is working with Thunderbolt Ross to create this team.
Okay, interesting.
Or at least that's just my best guess at the moment.
Well, listen, all guesses are good guesses because at this point, there was not a lot of. Again, I guess that was my takeaway is that I was struggling to see pick up on the Easter egg, see where it fits, see how they're going to tie it in. I am curious about a character like the Red Guardian. Do you think we see him again? Somewhere.
I know his future to me is a little bit more murky.
Yeah.
Because, I just don't know where you would put him. I guess you could have him working with the Thunderbolts in a way.
Okay.
But I highly doubt it, considering that Ross is very patriotic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus Red Guardian is very much patriotic towards the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So
that'd be a tough.
That would be a tough sell.
Tough line to draw. I think you're right. I think the majority, there was so much of Natasha Romanov's story was intertwined with Barton, right?
Yeah.
Hawkeye. So I think that's the most logical sense or place to weave this storyline into future MCU, narrative, if you will. So, it was, I hope Scarlett Johansson sticks around, but do you have any idea? Is she on the slate for,
I don't know.
Okay.
If Black Widow comes back, like Natasha Romanoff Black Widow comes back, it's most likely going to be part of the multiverse because it's like a different version of Black Widow. Because you kind of saw that with What If.
Yeah.
The way that show ended, actually, that I feel like is actually going to tie in a lot more than a lot of people would expect.
So I haven't seen What If, and I thought maybe they were doing it as sort of a survey, throwing some things out there and seeing if the fan base liked any of it. You know what I mean?
To be fair, the first couple of episodes definitely kind of seem like that.
Okay.
But the later episodes are hinting more towards a greater narrative.
Really? Okay. Interesting.
And
I have not seen it. So
I recommend you watch it. But given how Loki ended, and how the multiverse is basically really now a thing, I feel like that's really the only way that Natasha Romanoff is ever coming back.
Okay. Well, let's figure this out. So we've got Hawkeye. When is that coming out?
I want to say actually like December.
Okay.
That's what I want to say. I could be wrong on that. Yeah.
I think to your point, Matt, with this Black Widow and how it fits into the greater narrative, I think we're going to see some of that, whether it be through Eternals or Hawkeye or Spider-Man or whatever it is. And then what is it? Right after the new year into how long do we have to wait until we get the Multiverse of Madness? Is that
might have been pushed back?
Okay. I was thinking that was like spring.
April
it was
or
May.
I think it was like March 2022.
Okay.
I think it was what I last heard.
Okay.
And then maybe it got pushed back.
All right. Well, listen, what else do we got to do from the Black Widow standpoint?
I would say we're pretty much good from a Black Widow standpoint. This was a very straightforward movie.
Agreed. I thought
say what you want, but this was a lot more straightforward than a lot of projects that have come out recently, especially with regards to like Loki or dare I say,
you're talking about WandaVision.
WandaVision.
I was gonna say WandaVision had a ton. That's setting up a whole. There was a lot of setting up.
Yeah.
This felt a lot more like
it was literally just kind of like A, passing off the torch, and B, really just kind of helping continue the basically the Infinity Saga narrative.
Yeah.
Where we just had a lot of missing details.
And here's the thing: they intended to release this a long time ago.
That's true.
So you got to think about it in that context too. But at the end of the day, I thought even if they were just paying homage to Natasha Romanoff and that character, Scarlett Johansson, I thought it was well done. Very entertaining film.
Yeah.
Action was well done. I really liked Taskmaster. I thought I could have seen more of her.
I know. I think we will see more of her too.
Yeah.
Again, she could, the way I see it, I feel like she's more likely to join the Thunderbolts than Red Guardian. But
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. They left a lot of opportunity at the end of the film. I mean,
they really did.
Dreykov was the only real main guy that was clearly killed.
Yeah.
And everybody else survived, and we'll see kind of where it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So, all right, well, guys, thanks for tuning in here to the Black Widow episode. We're going to be back on the mic here in a little bit with the Eternals. Anything else, Matt, before we sign off?
Nope, I think we're good.
All right, thanks, guys.